Hi guys, so I thought I would do just a open-ended video while I'm getting ready and tell you guys all the secrets of my tarot business, like how I set it up, why I designed it the way I do, how I work with clients, how much money I make, everything, all of it for free. I'm not gonna like offer you one of those ridiculous courses that you have to sign up for. So, like purchase this course for your secrets to becoming a successful tarot reader. I hate all of that. I really do. It gives me the ick. Let's just be honest. Let's not gatekeep in the community. I am here to help other tarot readers. I feel like it's a gift and the world needs tarot readers. And I have figured out a way that's very successful that works for me. And if I can inspire other people to have their own successful business based off of what was successful for me, I'm all for it. I'm all for sharing. I'm not for gatekeeping. That being said, I actually don't have a lot of time to film, so I thought while I was putting on my makeup, I would just chat with you guys and share my real world knowledge and experience and the choices that I've made and why while I get ready. Okay, so when I was first starting out how to develop a tarot business, I did a lot of trial and error, and a lot of it was because I got very bad advice. And I see a lot of young tarot readers also getting terrible advice. Because you go on social media and you see these people and they've got like tens of thousands of followers or millions of followers, and they're like super big gurus and they charge like tons of money to do what they do and go on these exclusive retreats. And it basically puts this expectation that you have to be this like super successful, influential social media influencer in order to be successful. And I actually kind of hate that idea because social media is not the end all be all for success, and you can have success and happiness without having to pimp yourself out to the algorithm. For me, I don't advertise. I don't have a social media presence for my tarot. I'm not pimping myself out online. This small, very minuscule YouTube channel that I have is just to help other tarot readers and hopefully be educational content for people. This is not to market my business. I'm not into marketing. And so when I set up my business, that was definitely really important to me because I hated the slimy, salesman-y kind of MLM vibe that I get from influencers on social media who exploit spiritual healing. It just gives me the ick. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but the kind of people that say like, I will make you wealthy, or, I have a successful spiritual business and I pull in like $800,000 or $1 million a year reading astrology. And if you sign up for my course, I will also make you rich and wealthy. It just gives me scammer vibes. Like, it makes me literally ick because anything that sounds too good to be true, it probably is. I'm super happy for you if you're making $1 million a year doing astrology. But then it doesn't feel real to me. It feels like a scam. It really does. So I do not make $1 million a year being a tarot reader, but I do make enough to pay my bills, and I do make enough to fit my needs. And so the first thing that I would suggest if you're looking to start up your own tarot business is really figure out your icks. Figure out what you like and what you don't like specifically. What you don't like, don't do it, because you're not gonna have the energy to sustain yourself through the business if you just do things you don't like. Like, you're not gonna have the heart and soul to do this work. And so you really need to do what you love. And what I found out was I love working with people long term. I care about my clients. I want to hear their updates. I want to follow up with them. I want to chat with them in my emails. Like, that to me is very rewarding. So when I designed and set up my business, I really just wanted to have a group of regulars that I worked with and not be constantly chasing new clients. So I did not want to have the business model where I need to constantly have sales or constantly be chasing new clients. Like, number one, my heart is not in it. I find it exhausting. And number two, it's like kind of sad. Like, I do this beautiful reading for someone and we have this amazing connection and then I never hear from them again. Like, that's not how I wanted my business to be. So right off the gate, I wanted to make sure that my tarot business was focused on like long-term connections. I wanted to read for people over the years and not just I read for you once or twice and then I never hear from you again. Like, that to me is more valuable and I liked that a lot better. So I shifted my business model. Instead of trying to do volume and quantity, I focus on quality. I intentionally keep the number of clients down to a minimum, and I focus mostly on clients who stay with me over the years, like people that I've read for over the years. So once I kind of shifted my client base, this affected everything else because now I didn't have to advertise. I didn't have to chase. I didn't have to be one of those tarot readers with like hundreds of thousands of sales or anything ridiculous like that. And I liked it that way. I want to have relationships with people. So the way that my business is set up is the bulk of my practice is actually people who purchase like 12 session bundles, and then I read for them for the entire year. And they purchase these bundles because they get them at a discount, so they save money. And then a lot of people, most of them I read like once a month. I read once a month for the entire year, and then they book with me every year. So it's like an ongoing relationship. And I found that people really love this because it's really hard to find a tarot reader that you trust, someone that you have a good relationship with. And when you find a really talented tarot reader, when you find someone that you really love, you want to stay with them. You want to keep them for life, like a good hairdresser or a good therapist. Like, you want to keep them. They become yours. and so a lot of my clients I've known for years, and that's really rewarding for me because I get to be a part of their journey. Like, we've gone to college together. We've had marriages. We've had divorces together. Like, I've got to work with my clients through their life, and I've gotten to be part of their life over the years. And that to me is really rewarding. And I find that so much more beautiful and higher quality than being one of those tarot readers who is just like, okay, next, like, constantly trying to chase new clients. I don't like that. I like building relationships with people, and I like having clients that are very meaningful to me. So that pretty much dictates my business model. Like, because I have clients who book packages and they book 12 sessions throughout the whole year, I actually don't have to have that many clients for my schedule to fill up. For me personally, I don't have the energy to read more than like 2 or 3 clients a day. Tarot reading is my style, is very intense. It takes like an hour long. It's a lot of work. And so in order to maintain the quality of my readings, I limit myself. I don't take on more than 2 clients a day. Sometimes I will do 3 if it's like a new client that I'm trying to fit in, but I really don't like to push that. I like to keep it around 2. So I read Monday through Friday, 2 clients a day, which is 10 clients a week. If you have 4 weeks in a month, that's 40 clients a month. It's not that big of a deal. So that's it. And when I do couple sessions, I do individual and I do couple sessions. Couple sessions take more time. They're also more expensive. So I have to sell even less. So 40 is like my max if I only do single sessions. But typically I only need to sell like 10 couple sessions and 20 single sessions. And then my schedule is booked for the entire year. I am booked. Right now, and I'm so sorry to say this, but actually right now I am sold out of the yearly sessions. If any of you guys are interested in purchasing that, I'm actually sold out. I think I have some openings coming up in like May or June. If anyone wants to get on my mailing list, I'll let you know when a spot opens up. But yeah, right now I don't have any space in my schedule to take on clients for the year. But yeah, I have clients that are international. So out of, the world of 8 billion people, I only need to make 30 sales and then my schedule is booked for the year. So it's actually quite easy. It's way easier than I thought, and it's way easier than trying to constantly chase clients or constantly trying to, pimp yourself out for the algorithm and get the most views and get the most exposure. And, it's so much simpler when you focus on quality and not quantity, when you focus on keeping relationships with people instead of trying to just churn and burn through your practice. And I think the other thing is that, to me, like, it gives very scammer vibes. Like, a lot of scammers, they just want to take your money, read for you, and be like, okay, send you on your way. Like, they don't want to have a relationship with you. They don't want to follow up and say, well, how did that reading go? Or how are you doing? Or let's, follow up on your life. A lot of scammers, they just want your money and that's it. And then they never talk to you again. And I really don't like that. It's not rewarding for me as an individual, and it's not rewarding as part of my practice. So when I changed my business model to focus on an exclusive number of people who just book with me throughout the entire year, now it relieves a lot of pressure. I get to actually focus on people. I get to give them my one-on-one attention. We get to build a relationship. And instead of spending time advertising or pulling cards or like chasing on social media, I don't have to. I can actually give my clients my attention, my focus, my energy, my quality. I can actually give them high quality service. Most people, like I said, they book with me throughout the year. So they buy like a 12 session package, and then I read for them once a month is like typical. And a lot of people really love this. It's like a refresher every month. It helps kind of like spiritually set them. It's healing. It's inspirational. It's motivating. Even if they don't have like a specific problem or a specific question in mind, just meeting once a month for a lot of these clients, it just is very healing and uplifting and positive. And if I had to say what most of my clients book with me for, is because getting a tarot reading just makes them feel good. It inspires them. It rejuvenates them in their life. And so having it on a monthly schedule, like getting it once a month, is really beneficial and positive for them. And that's what I love. Now, I do get new clients, and I'm gonna try to do this eyeliner because I'm not the best at eyeliner. But because I don't have to chase new clients, I'm not like really concerned with trying to fit new clients in my schedule. I always prioritize my regulars first. Now, the second thing I wanted to talk about is pay. How much do you charge? This is going to vary depending on what you want in your business model. But for me, personally, because I'm already booked, because I already have enough clients to fill my schedule, I get to be very selective about the clients that I'm going to keep and the clients that I'm going to reject. I don't accept everybody as a client. If someone tries to like nickel and dime me, if they try to exploit my time, if, you know, I feel like they're rude or whatever, I'm just going to reject them as a client. I don't need clients. I'm fine. And I like that position. It helps take the pressure off of me. But I do currently have some constraints. In order for me to give someone a tarot reading, I have to pay for childcare. I'm a mother. And when I hire a babysitter, I have to pay her a minimum of $20 an hour, and she comes for a minimum of 2 hours at a time. So in order for me to give someone a tarot reading, I have to pay $40 for childcare. And because I have to pay to be available in order to give a tarot reading, this kind of dictates the type of services that I offer. Right now, the services that I offer are only an hour and up, because it just doesn't make any financial sense for me to hire a babysitter for 2 hours just to give a 10-minute reading or a 30-minute reading. Like, that wouldn't make any sense for me whatsoever. And of course, when I have more children, I'm gonna have to pay her $25 an hour, not 20. So that's obviously gonna affect my bottom line. So being available to do tarot readings is not free. I have to pay someone to watch my child in order to give a tarot reading. And so because of that, my threshold in order to accept clients are only people who can commit to an hour of my time. So I don't accept clients who are the quick and fast. And that's also not my reading style. I like to do deep dives. I like to chat. I like to dig in. But more importantly, it just doesn't make any financial sense to me. Every single client that I book, I have to pay a babysitter to be available. So there has to be a minimum threshold in order for it to be like barely profitable for me to be a tarot reader. Right now my prices are like $100 an hour. So if I'm paying a babysitter between $4 to $50, yes, childcare is really expensive. It is a huge chunk of my profits, but at this time in my life, it's just non-negotiable for me. So if you don't have children, you don't have to pay for childcare, then being a tarot reader can be quite profitable. The way that I have my business set up, where I read for 2 clients a day, about 10 readings a week, it works out to be around 50 grand a year, give or take, depending on how many new clients I have. And then of course my childcare expenses are, $20K a year. So that's quite a big chunk. Other expenses for me is of course my website. I have to pay for, the fees and transactions and everything else with that. So that's a couple $1,000s as well. And you of course have to pay for space. You have to pay for space, internet, your Zoom account, anything else. I mean, there are expenses associated with it, but if you are going to be a tarot reader, the biggest expense is your time. Time and availability, because the quality of time that you give to clients, it can't just be like, I rolled out of bed and I light a candle and I'm shuffling cards. For me, I really have to do some meditation work. I have to do some grounding. I have to clear my mind, really spiritually center myself so that I'm not bringing any drama or stress or hassle into the reading. When I sit down for a client, they need to get my undivided, completely pure, completely unadulterated attention, and I am there for them completely. And so in order to do that, you really have to protect your energy, you have to protect your space, and your time is the most important commodity. Now, I can expand my business in other ways. I do take students from time to time, occasionally. I do teach tarot privately. Like if I find a student that I really want to invest in, I will teach them. I am thinking about offering some workshops, some self-led workshops, because I understand not everybody can spend $100 for an hour session or, book 12 sessions for the year. I understand that that is pretty exclusive, and not everybody can be part of that like club. Not everyone can be part of that party. So I might offer other things like workshops or things that I sell on my shop. But right now my services are pretty booked, they're pretty packed, and in order for me to make workshops, I need to have time. I can barely make these low quality YouTube videos, like barely. And I do this because it's fun, but I also I remember when I was first learning how to do tarot and how to get into this world, I just got a lot of bad advice, and I had a lot of bad role models too. And there's a lot of gatekeeping in this community, which is completely unrealistic and unnecessary. You don't have to be like Joel Osteen or some huge platform influencer, mega guru, whatever spiritual nutcase that there are. You just don't. And for me, it gives MLM vibes, it gives scammer vibes. I personally hate pimping myself out on social media. I hate it. And I knew I didn't have the stamina to do that if I was gonna run my own business. So I changed my business model, and I only do the things that I like to do. And because I have built my business over the things that I like, I have the energy to sustain it. And I think that's probably the best advice that I can give people who are looking to start their own tarot business is, number one, figure out what your icks are. Figure out what you don't want to do. If you're like me and you think, oh, I just hate advertising and slime, I hate it, then make sure that you build your business model where you don't have to do that, right? So number one, find your icks, find your weaknesses, find the things that you don't want to do. Number two, find your strengths. What about your services or your products make you special, make you unique? For me, it's building relationships. For me, I genuinely want to care about my clients, and I find it very rewarding when I journey through my client's life with them. I want to be part of their team. I want to be on their cheerleading squad. I want to see them grow old and, live life together. To me, that's what makes it so special. They're not just faceless strangers to me, but people that I've shared life with, that we've shared stories with. And to be like a spiritual counselor or a spiritual healer to them on their journey is such an honor and a privilege to me. That is unique to me. That's what I feel like is my strength, is the care and compassion and the quality that I give to my clients. So find out what your strengths are and build your brand around that, build your business around that. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing, right? If everyone else is, chasing the algorithm and selling out their, spiritual retreats to Bali, that's just not me. It's too icky for me. I'm not gonna do that. Figure out what's right for you and then build your business on that. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing in order to be successful. And then, of course, find out what your limitations are. For me, my personal limitations are I cannot give a high volume of readings. My quality goes down, and I would much rather protect the quality of my sessions. So definitely maintain quality. People are not dumb. People are not dumb. They know the difference between a good tarot reader and a bad one. And if you're cutting corners, if you're fatigued, if you're not bringing your best energy or your best talent to the session, people are gonna know. They're probably not gonna tell you to your face. They're probably just gonna not book with you again. That's typically what happens. If you're not that good at what you do, people will just not be regulars. And so you really need to bring your best quality, your best energy to your craft. And, be authentic. Be yourself. Again, people are not dumb. People know the difference. And there's a saying where you can fool like some people some of the time, but you can't fool all people all the time. And I feel like in the spiritual community, there's a lot of that going on. Like there's a lot of like these, get rich quick schemes that there's like, yeah, like I mean, I could probably make a whole video about my icks in the spiritual community, but I feel like it's important to be yourself, be authentic, bring your perspective, your unique perspective to your practice. And probably the last thing I want to talk about is ageism. Now, I did start taking on clients and reading tarot when I was very young, when I was just finishing up college. And I definitely, looking back over the span of how my business has progressed, I can definitely say that I had a lot of learning and growing up to do between my 20s and my 30s, and now I'm closer to my 40s. And I probably still have more life to live. But I would caution people, when you become a spiritual healer or when you're using tarot or any type of spiritual tools to help people, that you know the limits of your own experience. I say this because I see a lot of people who are maybe like, they're not parents, they've never had children, but they're giving parenting advice. And I know that's like a hot topic, but there are some initiations in life that unless you experience, it's very, very hard for you to understand. It's like experiencing death. Maybe you can conceptualize it, you can read a book, you can maybe like understand it on an intellectual level, but unless you actually experience death personally, it's very hard for you to be able to understand what that's like for your clients or be able to offer spiritual guidance. You just don't have the language for that yet because you haven't lived that life experience. For me, that's like being a mother, right? Like before I became a mother, before I became a parent, I intellectually had ideas about parenting, and now the reality is quite different. And so now I'm actually able to support and care for clients who are mothers or wanting to be mothers or who have gone through that process, because now I have the experience and language to bring to my practice. So if you are young and there are things that you haven't experienced yet, like you haven't gotten married, you haven't experienced death, you haven't become a parent or something like that, I'm not saying that you can't be a spiritual healer or that you don't have value to bring. What I'm saying is just be aware of the limitations of your own inexperience. We all are inexperienced in some way, but it's very important not to oversell ourselves, right? You don't want to oversell yourself and underdeliver, because people are going to see through that. You always want to be your authentic self. And if you're young and inexperienced in love, or you don't know what it's like to be a parent, or if you've never experienced death before, like that doesn't mean that you don't have value or you can't be a spiritual healer. But don't lie to people. Don't lie to people. My gosh, like don't pretend to be something that you're not. Don't pretend to have experience and knowledge that you just don't have. So that would be the other thing that I would say. As I've gotten older, the amount of clients that I can support has expanded. And I do have clients that are much older than me who experience things that I haven't experienced yet. And I feel like they teach me actually more than I teach them. But I can offer them things in my purview, in my strength skill set. But I don't try to, overmarket myself or make promises or say things that I don't have yet. So that's another thing that I would recommend, is make sure you don't oversell yourself or promise things that you just haven't had the experience to develop the language for yet. I have probably lost count of, just like what comes to mind. I've lost count of how many influencers, like spiritual influencers, I've seen who are like, I've met the love of my life and I'll sell you this course so you can find your soulmate. And meanwhile, their personal relationships are a mess. And it's like, honey, like, you don't have to be an expert in everything. You don't have to be an expert at life by 25 or 22. It's okay to honestly evaluate your strengths and see what healing can you bring to the table now, instead of trying to overpromise things that you haven't yet experienced. Anyway, that's another gripe. But thanks for getting ready with me. I don't have a lot of time to make videos, but I hope these are helpful. Like I said, I'm trying to make videos of what I would have wanted to hear when I was a young tarot reader or when I was trying to learn tarot. And if some of you are trying to figure out how to set up your own tarot business without having to do the icky marketing stuff or be a scammer or pimp yourself on the algorithm, this is how I did it. And I basically played to my strengths, and I played to what I personally enjoy as a tarot reader. And for me, in order to have a full schedule, I only need to make like 30 sales a year. And my schedule's packed. It's typically between 30 to 40, and then I'll probably have like a bunch of new clients or clients who book me intermittently. But on average, I would say I do about 500 readings a year, so about $50,000 a year. There's certainly ways that my practice could grow. I can certainly change my business model, but right now, as a young mom and with the demands of my life and my current schedule and everything, that is my standard for success for me. And it's something that I find very rewarding and wonderful. And I would not be a tarot reader if I didn't enjoy doing what I do. Like that, at the end of the day, like money is nice, but you also have to have a passion for this kind of work. You have to have that genuine love and care and that genuine passion, because it takes a tremendous amount of energy, a tremendous amount of spiritual work to be able to give to clients in this way. Anyway, let me know if you guys have any questions. This was totally like unscripted, just me like chatting off the top of my head. But if you have any questions, drop them in the chat below. I'd be happy to chat with y'all. And yeah, take care, everyone. Bye.